Good morning, church family. I want to bring you an encouraging word as we head into the weekend. I want to visit with you about what Jesus said was the most important commandment. I hope to encourage you to see that it is still the most important thing that we can do as Christians. At the end of this video, I also want to provide you an update regarding our facilities and where those are at this point. As we begin thinking about this, let me ask you a question. Have you ever known anyone that is a rule follower? I've known people like that, and occasionally I've been called that. You know, sometimes people want to know the rules because they want to know the bare minimum that's expected of them. You know, like that coworker who constantly says, "That's not in my job description," when asked to help with something. Others follow the rules because of the common good that rules provide to the community. You know, I have some friends that were born and raised in England. A job brought them to the United States, and they had to learn a new rule. You see, when they learned to drive in England, they learned to sit in the right front seat and to drive on the left side of the road. When they came to the United States, we sit in the left front seat and drive on the right side of the road. Can you imagine what harm could have come to them or others around them had they say, "No, that's not the way we learned it. I'm going to keep doing it the way I was taught. I'm going to continue to sit in the right front seat and drive on the left side of the road." But instead, they understood there's a common good here. It's good for them and it's good for others. And so they learned a new rule and they began to live based on the way we drive in the United States. Now, of course, when they go back to England to visit family, they have to make an adjustment there. You know, in the Old Testament, when God brought the children of Israel out of captivity in Egypt, he spent time with them, teaching them how to live in community, how to worship him, what was expected of them as the children of God. He gave them commandments. We refer to our commandments to live by, and we refer to those as the 10 Commandments. You know, the interesting thing about that is you continue to read about the Exodus, and God had promised them a land, and he was going to give them good things in that land. And the children had seen all the miracles that God had done, bringing them out of Egypt and bringing them up to the promised land. And it was time for them to cross over and to go into the promised land. And they got scared, I guess, and they put together a team of 12 men to go in and look at the land. And they told Moses it was to spy out the land and to figure out the route they should go. But when they came back, they said, "Oh, the people are big. And they're giants in our, we're tiny in their eyes." And so everybody got scared and they questioned God. And so the end result was they ended up spending 40 years wandering in the wilderness. In the New Testament, we find the Sadducees and the Pharisees, Israel's religious leaders, questioning Jesus about their interpretation of God's laws on how to live in community. It's like they didn't learn their lesson from their ancestors. In the 22nd chapter of Matthew's Gospel, we see the Sadducees were challenging Jesus on the rules about taxes and marriage. And Jesus' answers, well, he just shut them down. And the Pharisees, they saw this and they still decided to give it a go with Jesus. And so they thought they would trap him by asking him the question, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Like, 10 are too many. Can you narrow it down to just one? Well, obviously, that was a trap. Let me read for you the words that Jesus spoke to them. Matthew 22, verse 37. He said, Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law of the prophets hang on these two commandments." Well, you know what? In the world in which we live in today, we find a lot of craziness going on. We see craziness going on in politics and in healthcare, even in our schools right now, just in so many different areas, even in our own small communities, families, challenges everywhere. How are we supposed to respond to all that? Well, I would challenge you and say that the 10 Commandments that God gave to the children of Israel in the Old Testament, and as Jesus summarized them for the Sadducees and Pharisees in the New Testament, love God, love others. That's still how we're to respond today. I understand we need to be informed, we need to vote, we need to speak truth into situations that God puts us into, but we need to do all of that in love. We need to love God first, and we need to love our neighbors as ourselves. And when we do that, it takes away a lot of the fighting and a lot of the stress and the tension that we feel in our world today. I want to challenge you. Whatever's going on in your world, love God and love others. In that, you'll find the fullness of your faith in Him. Church family, I love you, and I look forward to seeing you Sunday in church. I enjoy our opportunity to gather and worship. Let me share with you a little bit about our facilities, the place where we worship. Things have been moving along well. Our sanctuary has been repainted and the new carpet has been put in. The technology is still being worked on. They're getting all that set up, so we'll still need to move furniture and chairs and things like that. So this Sunday we will continue to worship in the gym. The rest of the building is coming along well. There's still some more painting and flooring that needs to be done. The cabinets haven't been put in yet, but things are coming along quite nicely, and it's starting to look really well. One of the challenges that we're facing right now is with the lights. We haven't been able to get all of the lights in at this point. You know, the ones that have the battery backup that come on when the power goes out? Those lights haven't arrived yet. We've been told that the manufacturer has produced them, and as the last email, I think it's a trucking shortage that's causing delays in getting them to us. So I appreciate how patient you all have been as a congregation, but know that our general contractor is working on that, and I believe they found a resolution. Hopefully in the next this coming week, we'll see those lights arrive. But we're just trusting the Lord in that. I want you to be aware of it, but looking forward to it. Thank you again for your patience with that. Know that this Sunday we'll continue to worship in our fellowship hall, but things are coming along nicely, and it looks like we're getting close to the end of the project. I love you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.